Welcome to In Conversation with MANWAR podcast. This podcast is brought to you by the Do Not Be a Bystander campaign. You can join us in raising awareness about bullying by visiting the donotbeabystander.com, and be sure to subscribe to the channel to stay informed about upcoming episodes. Today's participants are Shanza, Afsa, and Faiza. Our special guest for today's episode is Rob Burnshaw.
Welcome to our Bullying Awareness Podcast. I'm your host, Manwar Khan. Today I'm joined by three young individuals who are ready to share their thoughts and insights on the topic of family values. Family values play a crucial role in shaping a person's character, behavior, and attitude towards others. When it comes to bullying, a strong foundation of positive family values can help prevent and address such kind of behaviors. These young individuals, our participants, they are very passionate about addressing bullying and they are willing to empower others. And that's why you see them here at our podcast. Today's participants are Shanza, Absa, and Faiza. Thank you for
Hi.
Hello. Thank you for joining us today. Before we continue, I would like to introduce our special guest for today's podcast, Rob. Rob will shed some lights on this topic today. He will listen to you guys and any advice and tips he can provide, he will provide that once you guys are done with your responses. Sorry, I also want to mention that if I'm not looking at you and looking at that screen, that does not mean I'm not looking at you actually. That is the screen where can see everyone, and this is just the camera I have here. Okay, so sometimes I will be looking at the screen. So I would like to talk a little bit about Rob. Rob, who was born and raised in poverty here in Edmonton, had a transformative experience when he completed his first year of junior high. At that time, his single mother, who courageously raised seven children on her own, made the decision to relocate the family to a small town in southern Alberta. This move provided Rob with the opportunity to gain valuable experience by working on farms in the area. He graduated from he graduated from the telecommunication engineering program at the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology (NAIT) in Edmonton, Alberta. He's actively engaged in volunteering, and I personally know that, both within in local community and an international scale even. I would like to mention that Rob, this is that Rob who participated in the Vancouver 2010 Winter Olympics by being an official torch bearer. He's heavily involved in political aspects of life. Thank you, Rob, for joining us today and making the time out of your extremely busy schedule. I really
Thank
appreciate
you. Thank you, Manuel. I appreciate it as well. Thank you.
it. You are welcome. All right, now that we have introduced our participants and guests, let's get started to our questions. My first question for Absa. There are many important values to families around the world. So my question to you is, what does this term family values mean to you? And can you name some of the values that you can think are important in a family?
Okay. So, family values are basically the positive teachings of a family. It can also be referred as the traditional or cultural values that adds to the family structure, function, beliefs, and attitudes or ideas. It can also include the moral and ethical values of the family. And to me, some important family values are respecting the elders and loving the youngers, forgiving people and letting go, easily, maintaining the family's traditional values, and most importantly, treating everyone with respect and not looking down on anyone, and helping those in need. I think these are very important values that we always need to remember.
Excellent. Thank you for your answer, Afza. It is really important to note that different families may prioritize different values based on their cultural background and religious beliefs and personal experience. But wonderful answer. Thank you so much. My next question is for Paisa. Passing down values to younger generation is an essential aspect of maintaining and preserving family values. What are some ways that family can pass down their values to younger generation?
Well, family values remain with families for generations and generations in the form of stories, memories, experiences, or life lessons that we learn from the elders. So, in order for these values to be passed down, the family needs to stay united and correct the younger generation accordingly.
Right. Excellent. Thank you. All right. My next question is for Shanza. Family values plays a significant role for various real life situations, and we all know that. So my question for you is, can you think of any real life experience where family values played a significant role?
Yeah, so one day I was passing by my neighborhood and I saw an old lady like struggling with her groceries. Like she had like 5 or 6 bags in her hands and she looked really old. I think her age must be 70 or 75. So I just went to her and helped her carry the bags because this is the values that I got from my family to always help others in need, even if I don't know them.
Great. Wonderful. And the role of family values can be seen in various aspects of life, as I mentioned. You
Yes,
just gave a wonderful example.
thank
Excellent.
you.
Thank you so much, guys. With the completion of this questioning, we will move on to the final segment of the podcast. Now, I would like to invite our special guest, Rob, to share his thoughts on family values and give some advice to our participants and viewers.
Uh, Thank you, Manwar. And good morning, everyone. Thank you for participating. You had all very good thoughts on family values. I place high regard. Sorry if I'm going to cry because I feel very strongly about this. Uh, Everyone has different experiences and family uh, conditions during their life. Some have both parents. I had one. So my mom did the best she could with what she knew to teach us the values. Sorry, the values she had. I was fortunate that working on the farms, there was one farmer that taught me a very valuable lesson. He uh, he was sort of like a father figure to me because I didn't have one. His name was Willis Shipley. So bear with me, please. Sorry. I was bullied quite strongly when I was younger, and I was always afraid that if I said something or did something, I would be treated pretty badly. So I had the opportunity to operate a brand new baler. It's like it was a baling hay, like the straw when we cut it for the cattle. After the day was done, I got back to the farm and I drove in and I inadvertently hit a rock for the baler and it damaged it. So I tried to move it off and everything, but there was three pieces of equipment on, so I didn't know how to back it up. There was a Stuker, the baler, and the tractor. So I walked over to the farmer, Willis, and I said, I'm having a problem because I'm trying to move this equipment around, but the Stuker turns one way and the baler turns the other way. And he had this wry look on his face, and he said, Rob, why didn't you just disconnect the Stuker? Then you can move it around easier. But because I was so panicky about the damage I did to his baler, I didn't think of that. So then we walked back and I said, well, I have something else to tell you. So I brought him around to the front of the baler and I showed him what happened. And he had that same look on his face again. And the comment that he made shows how much he loved and placed value on family. He says, Rob, you should have seen what I did to a new baler. So right then, all that stress and anxiety was gone because it showed that he loved people more than he loved equipment. So that was a good example to me to carry on with my life now. People are more important, so don't ever forget that part. The value that people like you and everyone else contributes to society is immeasurable. So that means we as human beings need to support and encourage people to do that so they don't feel bullied and they don't feel like less than they really are. And I'm sorry I'm crying, but it's very, very strong emotional for me. So uh and all that you've done is great. Keep up the great work. That's how we stop bullying, is by recognizing and bullying comes in many forms. It could be guilt trips, it could be anything like that. So we've got to make sure we don't do that to other people. We always encourage and support and build up. And thank you very much for your time and for allowing me to talk today. I really appreciate that. I think my 5 minutes is up.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you for your insights. For my participants, do you guys have any question for Rob?
No, but
No,
I would like to
thank
say
you.
you're very strong, Rob. Thank you for sharing.
Yes, thank
Yes, thank you very much.
you.
Thank you for the compliment. You you become stronger as time passes as well. And and I chose to get out of poverty through education. And the more knowledge we can have, then the more we can help others as well by our example, by our our strengths. You know, we all have different strengths, so we just need to help encourage other people too, and hopefully recognize if someone is being bullied. You know, and to
Yeah,
take a
yeah,
step. Don't put yourself in danger. Don't ever do that.
yeah. And look at you, Rob, today now. I guess if I'm not wrong, you were involved in the general election last year, right? Last time, right?
Yeah, I've been in a few elections. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. See where you are. You are a renowned politician in our city today, and that's great. And doing a lot of work for community. You have personally, I remember the first time I met you. This is how I met you. I wanna tell my participants here, Shanza, Afza, and Faiza, that uh, Rob wrote a wonderful article about one of our campaigns. It's a long time ago, right? Time
yeah, I
passes
was in the
by.
Bradford press. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so, but no, thank you so much. I really appreciate that you joining here today, and thanks for all my participants too. And thank you so much listening to the our podcast. Before we wrap up, I would like to remind our listeners that there are several resources available individual dealing with bullying. The government of Alberta has bullying helpline, which provides support and advice to those who experience bullying. And that number can be reached 1-888-456-2323. Bullying is a violation of human right. Under no circumstances, bullying is acceptable. Thank you so much for joining in conversation with Manwar Khan today, and we will see you next week. Thank you and bye.
See you. Have a good
Thank
day.
you.
Everyone.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you.
You too. Bye.